Every morning, like most people, I start my day off with a cup of coffee. There are so many different types of coffee that sometimes it can be discouraging to know which kind of coffee is best for you. By senior year, the majority of us have had at least one cup of coffee in order to stay up late, to work on homework or study for a test, or to wake up after a long night of studying and doing homework. I have had my fair share of these late nights and early mornings. Through trial and error and a lot of research, I have discovered the right kind of coffee for me. So today I will be explaining the differences between regular coffee and espresso, as well as the differences between steamed milk and foamed milk. Then I will be describing 7 types of espresso-based drinks that I have found are the most common drinks. And finally, I will be giving some tips on how to find the right coffee for you. So drip coffee is your most basic type of coffee. You can either use just your normal coffee maker or a pour-over maker. They both require a paper filter and just any kind of coffee grounds. For the pour-over maker, you will put the filter in the top and then the coffee grounds, and then use a pitcher of hot water and pour over the top. The one on the right, the pour-over maker, is just a more fancy and cool type of making coffee. Next is the type of roast. The lighter the roast, the more acidic the taste will be, and the darker the roast, the more smoky it will be. To find the right type of roast for you, it just kind of depends on personal preference, so try a bunch of different kinds. To make espresso, the writers at Roasty Coffee say that all espresso is coffee, but not all coffee is espresso. A barista will pack finely ground, dark roasted coffee beans into the portafilter, which is the thing with the big black handle, and they will pack all the beans in there, and then the espresso machine will use pressurized, nearly boiling water and shoot it through the portafilter. It takes about 30 seconds to make a single shot of espresso. Espresso contains more caffeine in it than a regular cup of coffee would because of the pressurization and the packing of the coffee beans. Drinks like cappuccinos, lattes, mochas all contain either foamed milk or steamed milk. The authors of Home Grounds blog say they explain the process of making foamed milk, and it's the rapid movement of the milk will introduce air and will separate the milk into 2 distinct layers. So here's what foamed milk looks like. On the left top corner is what it would look like when it's being made, and then the rest of the pictures show the 2 layers between the milk and the foam. Next is steamed milk. Steamed milk uses pressurized steam to create texture and heat the milk. The pressurized steam breaks down fats and sugars in the milk. It creates it has uniform bubbles rather than the more separated bubbles like foamed milk. So now that we know the difference between regular coffee and espresso and the difference between foamed milk and steamed milk, we will look at 7 different types of espresso-based drinks. So first is the Americano. It's the middle top row. It has a single shot of espresso and then is topped off with water. It is your happy medium between your normal cup of coffee and just a straight espresso shot. Next is the Macchiato. The Macchiato is a single shot of espresso and foamed milk. However, there's not a lot of milk in it. It's mostly just foam. Next is the Cappuccino. The Cappuccino has an even ratio of espresso to milk to foam. A mocha is the same as a cappuccino, it just has chocolate syrup in it. This shows that the mocha is actually a latte. It typically depends on what coffee shop you go to, but you're more likely to find that it's a cappuccino rather than a latte. So a latte is a single shot of espresso with steamed milk. And then a flat white is a single shot of espresso with steamed milk, but it doesn't have a layer of microfoam. Lattes, if we look back here, lattes will have a small little layer of microfoam. but flat whites do not. And finally, the affogato is a single shot of espresso with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. This is a great dessert drink. So now that we know 7 different types of espresso, let's decide which one is best for you. A survey conducted by the Food and Nutrition Sciences found that 50% of men prefer to drink coffee, whereas only 32% of women enjoy drinking coffee. They interviewed 1,200 people whether or not they enjoyed coffee and what their motives for drinking coffee were. Men tend to drink more simpler coffee like drip coffee or an Americano, and then women tend to enjoy sweeter drinks like lattes or cappuccinos simply because they don't enjoy the taste of just regular coffee. And the survey also found that women prefer to drink tea over coffee. So a lot of people tend to start drinking to either wake up in the morning or to stay up late at night. As people drink more coffee, the taste tends to grow on them. I know that when I started drinking coffee, I hated the taste of it. But as I drank it more often, it began to grow on me. I also started trying different kinds of coffee and adding different flavors to any of the drinks that we saw up there. So you can add vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, and even pumpkin spice. So today we learned the difference between regular coffee and espresso, as well as the difference between foamed milk and steamed milk. We also learned different types of espresso-based drinks. And finally, we learned some tips on choosing the right kind of coffee for you. It is my hope that you will all be able to find a coffee that you find enjoyable and hopefully are less confused when ordering your